Part 4 of the Short Talk Bulletin, adapted from a pamphlet by the Grand Lodge of AF and AM of Illinois on what can a Mason tell a non-Mason about Freemasonry? Another question a non-Mason might ask is whether Masonry is a benefit society, like the many fraternal societies offering insurance and death benefits. This is something which can and certainly ought to be discussed to avoid any misunderstanding by a prospective candidate. The inquirer should be told that we have no insurance benefits, and that while Masons are second to none in their charitable endeavors, as is evidenced by our homes for the aged and for children, nevertheless, it would be financially impossible for the fraternity to care for all of its members. The minimum dues of $20 per year provide little surplus for any lodge to render aid except to those in dire distress. Another subject which could certainly be discussed with a non-Mason is the history of the Masonic Society and its evolution from the operatives, the builders of the Middle Ages, who created the great Gothic cathedrals, churches, and other structures in the British Isles and on the continent of Europe. There are many interesting topics of Masonic history which are perfectly proper to be discussed and might possibly excite the interest of serious-minded listeners who are not Masons. The history of our craft in America and the part which Masons played in the early history of our country is something of which we should all be justly proud. It is no secret, and no Mason is prohibited from discussing it. You should not discuss the ritual. Part of the fun of Freemasonry is the excitement and adventure of the ritual. You can explain that it is based in part upon the Holy Bible and that the ceremonies of Masonry are of a serious and dignified nature, without levity or horseplay. Certainly every candidate should be told this, and should be asked not to listen to the remarks of unthinking brethren about riding the goat and similar intimations that the candidate is entering into something like a high school fraternity. Such intimations are unworthy and untrue. Explain that Freemasonry is divided into 3 degrees and what is required to progress. Explain about the catechism, questions and answers, and what is expected. 6 million Masons learned, and be sure they know they can. All they need do is ask to start their travel from friend to brother. We are proud of our fraternity and want you proudly to explain Freemasonry to the worthy and well-qualified people in your sphere of influence.